policy moving forward. And then obviously we made the roster move with Lockett. We parted ways. I can't thank him enough for who he was and what he did for his time he was here. He was a true pro, came in, worked every day, but we parted ways. And with all that being said, with regards to the roster and everything, it's a great opportunity for a number of other players. Like we've talked about, you guys have asked questions before, it's going to be the next man up mentality. And you look back as a coach, and you look at players, and you always talk to them about preparing and being ready. Very similar to what Mason did last week. We talked all week long or all year long here about how you never know when your number's going to be called. Mason stepped into the game in a special teams role and played a little bit on offense, and that's exactly what we're looking for moving forward with everybody else. Regardless of what position you are, it's a unbelievable opportunity, and that's all you can ask for as a player. And with that, I'll open up to questions.
Is Steve an IR candidate?
We'll evaluate that, and we'll keep you posted as we go.
With Lockett being gone, slot position, how much of an opportunity does that open up for a guy like Chim DK?
Well, Chim, as you all know, his role has increased the past couple of weeks, and as the season went on, and you see the production, the big play he made the other day in the game. So he's made the most of that opportunity. So it's great, and now it's going to be opportunity for others also with where our roster is right now, and with it's an opportunity for other guys to step up.
You've seen Cam. You've seen Cam now up close and all, and in the situation that the team is in and he's in with struggling. He's a pretty evenly keeled guy, but how do you keep him from getting frustrated as a young player?
Well, I think I had a great talk with Cam yesterday, and the great thing about him is he wants to be great. We back in the offseason program, you guys heard about him being here early in the morning and leaving late. He busts his tail. He's a young player, and like all young players, there's the ups and downs. And a great example is Peyton Manning. He had the ups and downs a rookie year. Other players. My first year with Trevor in Jacksonville in a new system. It was his second year. There's ups and downs. I've had a number of other quarterbacks I've coached too. The first year in the system, there's the good and the bad. But as a rookie in the NFL, there's so much to learn. There is so much to learn, and I think, that's the great thing about him. He stays so even keeled during the games, and it's just, you talk to him on the sideline, you coach him through things, you just help him get better every single day, and that's what I told him, since the first day he was in here. When I first talked to him, because he asked me some questions about some things, I just said, hey, try to get better every single day. And that's every young player. You're trying to get better. There's a lot to learn at this level, and he'll just continue to get better every week.
How much might Bryce Oliver, and he's been talking like he's felt he's ready for a couple weeks, how much might he be able to give a boost to the receiving corps when he's back in?
When he's ready, he'll be ready to go out there. And he's another one of the players that when he's ready to go, we'll put him out there, and we know what he can do, and it's just a matter of him getting healthy to be able to go out there and play, because you want to make sure everyone's ready to go. I always talk about with the players is a return to play policy, and we just got to make sure these guys are dialed in and ready to go so they can play and be the best player they possibly can be when they're ready to go.
What do you feel like he can add?
Well, he's experienced, he's played, he's has position flexibility. He's that bigger target, and we see when we've given him opportunities this year, and his number's been dialed up, and there haven't been a ton of them, but when we've asked him to do certain things, he's done a nice job for us. And in the kicking game, he's one of our core players in the kicking game.
First time Cam's facing a team for the second time, how much would that help him, maybe in preparation, maybe learn from some things first time around?
Yeah, like I've said a number of times, there's nothing like experience, and it's when you see a team for the second time, you have a better understanding for the player, and they've had some changes on their roster also, but it's just you have a better feel, and it's like, you talk about a young player like Cam at the quarterback position. You play certain schemes, and you have an idea, but till you go out there and it changes and it picks up a little bit, you see the disguises, you see how players are. And a lot of the good players, they keep their little notebooks and they write things down. So he'll go back and look at his game plan from last time and look at it and say, hey, here's some things I saw. Here are some indicators. So, but they've got a great defense. So he's just got to go out there and execute the system.
It's the time of year where trade deadline rumors start swirling. Not talking about specific rumors, but do you address that with the team? Do you talk to players about that sort of stuff coming out, or do you kind of just trust them to handle their business and know not to
Well,
worry?
we have open communications with players about everything. I want to communicate with the players, but our number one focus right now is this weekend. Everything else will take care of itself down the road, but it's just our focus right now is going to Indy and finding a way to win the game. And players, I've got open door policy. Players and I talk about a lot of things. They're always welcome to come in and talk about things, and I think that's the way it needs to be. You have to have open communication and be upfront with players. And like you guys asked about hard coaching the other day, it's just you be brutally honest with players. And but we are our number one focus right now. We're not worrying about down the road. It's about this week. That's the number one thing.
What are some of the things you guys are implementing in practice to help Cam with ball security?
Well, this is nothing new. Cam knows right now the number one thing he has to do is take care of the football. He's been playing football a long time. I think he's hurt. Every meeting, all these things you always talk about ball security. Opponents you're playing, you show them videos every week. We talk about it. You see how teams try to strip balls, not just the quarterback, but other positions. So they see all that. There's drills every day in practice. That starts as a young kid. So he understands the importance. He can't put the ball on the ground in the pocket. The ball's, it's critical that we don't turn the ball over, especially against a good team like this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Last week, how great of a practice week it was
Yeah.
for the team.
Yeah.
Are you changing anything this week operational wise? And if not, then how do you make sure you address what you need to address for the Colts?
Well, I think the great thing is that we kind of laid the foundation last week for how we're going to practice. And practice, just like every game plan, every week, things are going to change depending on the health of your team, what type of team you're playing. When do you stay in pads? When you take pads off? There's so many things that go into it. But the great thing is last week, we laid the foundation for how we're going to practice moving forward. And we can kind of clean some things up, whether it's Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Here's what we need to do. Here's what we're going to do different. There might be a little tweak this week with, one of the 2 days moving forward on how we're going to do things. But they really know now how we want to do it, the tempo we want to go. But there will be minor changes every week depending on, the situation and where we are in the season.
Where are you as far as the quarterback's freedom to check in and out of plays? Because like the touchdown to DK, Cam said he almost checked out of it but didn't.
Thank God he didn't.
Yeah,
Thank God he didn't.
Sure,
Why would he want to do that? Come
Yeah.
on. Just execute the play call. It was great. Great route. No. I think freedom to check at the line of scrimmage comes with experience. And there's certain times where, like in certain game plan, I'll say certain game plan, there's more of it. There's certain looks that we're in teams, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give too much away here, but there are teams that do certain things, like if you see this, get to this.
Like alerts.
Yeah, a number of things. Or if he just checks a play on his own. And he's done that in the past. But it's like the big thing that I want with Cam is trust the system. Okay? Trust the system. We ran a play in Carolina years ago when I was a lot younger. We ran the same play 5 plays in a row. And all the players were wondering, Dan Henning, why would you call it 5 plays? Well, because the quarterback knows where to go with the ball. They didn't stop it the first time, so keep running it. And we threw a touchdown pass the 5th time on the 5th play, and the rest is history. But it's like the quarterback's job is to take advantage of what the defense is giving. If it's a bad play, throw the ball away, whatever that is. So you want them to do that at certain times, but number one, trust the system. And then we will coach you through things through a game plan. But I don't ever want to take it away from him, say he can't do it, because if there's something that comes up, I want him to get to it. And that's part of coaching, and that's part of the growth of a quarterback at this level. Because he's done it a couple of times before, and it's been phenomenal. But I don't, you don't want to do too much of it, but he always has that in his hip pocket.
Cam's accuracy has been up and down at times this year. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a difference between quarterbacks who have an accuracy issue and quarterbacks who have inaccuracy manifest as a result of footwork in their eyes? And which of those do you think Cam's inaccuracies falls into?
The combination of all those, to be honest with you. There's certain throws you look at through the entire season, and I made this point to him yesterday, you can't miss those throws. Those are the ones you have to hit at this level. Okay, and then there's going to be tight window throws, or there's going to, we all see a wide open receiver run on the middle field. But now all of a sudden there's 300-something pound in his face, and you miss it. So there's those things too. Or we don't always see There was a play in the game the other day that there's a wide open receiver, but he couldn't see him because of the push of the pocket, and someone might be standing directly. So that stuff happens. And then there are times, like you mentioned, about the footwork. To me, that's one thing I've been on him from day one is it all starts with your feet. So get your feet going the right way, and trust me, there's going to be times where he has to move and your feet aren't going to be set and you're moving around. So really to go back, that's a long-winded answer, but it's kind of a combination of all the things you mentioned.
Picking up on some of that, Brian had talked about him as a hunter, and Nick has talked repeatedly about, the temptation to go for something when maybe there's something short and convenient available that marches it. Where are you with him on kind of picking your spot to push versus taking the short thing that would help build the drive, get you into 2nd and 2?
I like completions. Completions. If you throw it deep, complete it. If you take a shot, take it. But if not, if it's not there, do the next best thing. Because there's plays that are designed that you want to take that shot, you want to be aggressive, but I think he's learning that it's a lot easier to play the game in 2nd and short and 3rd and short than it is in 2nd or 3rd and long. So and then I think as you get experience too, it's where is it in the game? What's the score of the game? What's the field position? There's so many other factors that come into it. And it's like, if the downfield throws there, we want you to be aggressive and take it. But when in doubt, look what happens when we check the ball down underneath this year. What happens? More often than not, our skilled players make the first guy miss. So if that's a learning thing for him also, going back with experience of when to take those shots and when not. And the most important thing for me with him is just trust the system and go through a progression. If the downfield throws the first part of the progression, no problem. That's what you're coached to do. It's just don't make things up and chase plays. Don't just make the plays that are there. Don't chase plays, because he's going to make a ton of plays. Because I'll say this: the one ball early on that he's rolling right earlier in the year, throws the ball all the way back across the field to Ellick. That's not coached. That's just a player making a play. And that's what players need to do. They need to go out there and go make plays. That's what the game's all about. So he's going to make a lot of great plays like that. And that's just him, natural talent going out there playing the game. So that's a great example of him throwing the ball downfield and making it happen. So you don't want to take the aggression away from the player, but you also always want to make sure that we're trusting the system, going through a progression, and just, learning that 2nd short, 3rd and short is a lot easier than long downs.
Are you seeing progress on that front? Last 2 here, guys. Are you seeing progress when you work with him during the week on taking what's there when you feel like it needs to be taken?
Yeah, I think, and that's one thing we've talked about as a staff too, is take things away from him in practice. Early on you try to say, okay, hey, let's get going, let's show him progressions and things like that. But then it might be in a walkthrough. Okay, just take this play away so that he does check it down. And I think he has done a better job with that.
What's kind of your philosophy overall on, at this point in the season, starting to incorporate more young guys? We saw it with DK, Winston may be ready to start giving you something, to start incorporating younger guys in to kind of get a longer look.
We're trying to win every game we play. We're going to put a game plan together and go out and do what's best for the team to win. But I've got no problem with our coaching staff, and we talk about it all the time. If you think certain guys should play in certain personnel packages, rotate guys in, I got no problem with that. It's just a matter of what is the best, how do we find a way to win this weekend? And mixing guys in for X number of snaps, I got no problem with that. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you all later.